We have this idea that being super intelligent means having this easier, more active, more social life. But what if, for some of the brightest minds out there, the exact opposite is true? Today, we're going to dig into the psychology behind why some people find their greatest peace not out in the world, but right inside their own four walls.
Does this sound familiar? That feeling that your brain is just always on, constantly running, analyzing, processing every little thing, even when you are desperately trying to rest. Well, if that hits home, you're in the right place. You're definitely not alone, and there are some very real psychological reasons for this.
And this right here, this is the conflict, isn't it? On one side, you've got the labels that people who don't get it might throw around. But on the other side is the actual reality. For a mind that's wired differently, the world can be just mentally expensive. It's an environment that drains a massive amount of energy. So let's break that down.
All right, first up, we've got to look under the hood to really get why this experience is so often misunderstood by others. It all kicks off with a concept you could call the psychological cost of depth. So a huge piece of this is something called deep processing. And here's the thing, it's not a switch you can just flip off. It's your brain's default setting. It means you are constantly, and pretty much automatically, analyzing all the social and environmental data that's coming at you.
So yeah, while somebody else might just see a simple crowd, your mind is basically running a full-blown diagnostic on everything. It's catching those tiny social cues, tracking every little shift in someone's tone of voice, seeing potential risks no one else notices, and finding patterns in the chaos. That's not just thinking. That's a serious mental workout.
Okay, so if your brain is constantly running at that level, how in the world does it cope? Let's jump into our next section and see how this has nothing to do with being lazy and everything to do with intelligently managing a very finite resource, your mental energy.
Well, it really all boils down to one thing: energy conservation. Your brain, at a very basic level, is wired to find and prefer environments that take the least amount of effort to manage. So choosing to be at home? That's not a failure to launch. It's actually a really smart, strategic move to preserve your most valuable asset: your mental clarity.
And this is where we see a huge difference, right? A lot of people need that external noise, events, malls, whatever, to feel entertained. But for a mind that's constantly generating its own complex thoughts, the real stimulation is already happening on the inside. Your own ideas, your hobbies, your reflections, that's more than enough to keep you busy.
Yeah, for a mind like this, silence isn't some empty space you need to fill up. It's fuel. It's the clean, open space you need to recharge, to connect different ideas, and to do your most creative, deep thinking. In that sense, silence is incredibly productive.
Okay, but this doesn't mean you're antisocial or you hate people, not at all. But social stuff can feel, well, uniquely draining. Let's explore why the problem usually isn't about connection itself, but about the kind of connection you're looking for.
This really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? Real loneliness isn't about being by yourself. It happens when you're in a room full of people and you just can't find that mental resonance, that amazing feeling of clicking with someone who's on the exact same wavelength.
And that right there is why small talk can feel like actual torture. Your brain has already chewed through the topic, predicted all the likely conversation paths, and is hungry for the next level of depth. When the conversation just stalls on the surface, it's like revving a race car engine while you're stuck in traffic. It's exhausting and just deeply unsatisfying.
All right, let's pull all these threads together for our last section. Choosing your environment isn't about locking yourself in a cage. We're going to see how it's actually one of the smartest forms of self-regulation you can possibly practice.
See, your brain is always learning, always making associations. It's called environmental conditioning. And if the outside world consistently means unpredictability, sensory overload, and a ton of mental effort, your brain logically starts to code inside as the place for safety, recovery, and clarity. That's not a weakness, That's your nervous system doing its job to protect you.
So if there is one thing, just one thing you take away today, please let it be this: feeling drained by things that seem simple to others, feeling a little out of place, these are not signs that you're broken. They are simply the cost of seeing the world with more depth than most people do.
To really bring this home, let's try an analogy. Think about how we see the world. For a lot of people, their mind is kind of like a pair of binoculars. They're handy, they're portable, and they're great for getting a quick look at what's right in front of you.
But your mind? Nah, it's not that. It's more like a high-precision telescope. It's this incredibly powerful, sensitive instrument that's built to see things that are far away, complex, and totally invisible to the naked eye.
I mean, think about it. You can't use a powerful telescope in the middle of a noisy, brightly lit city, right? It needs a stable foundation. It needs quiet. It needs control. So staying home isn't about hiding from the world. It's about building your own observatory, creating the perfect conditions to use the powerful instrument you were given.
So, I'll just leave you with this question. Now that you understand that your mind is this powerful, sensitive instrument that needs the right conditions to really shine, what new worlds are you going to point it towards? What will you choose to discover?